Referring to revision, on the contrary, it's a revival from religion. How we combat opposition, a scapegoat from contention, our vehicle used to transport us to carrying out God's vision. But look, Josh, it's evident you don't comprehend my restriction to fit in as this barrier called sin. See, Jesus doesn't seem to understand the way I live. Unthinkable things transpire that he won't forgive. I don't feel that I'm good enough to go to church, a location infused with hypocrites defining each other's worth. However, those falsified accusations are misinterpretations of Christ. The world illustrates this inaccurate portrayal of the light, but the story wasn't concluded when Jesus died. Society says he doesn't understand the way you live, yet he's the bread of life. And when you enter into a state of confession, Jesus enters into a state of intercession. He commences a court session where there's no need for guessing or unnecessary stressing. He's more than just a reverend, the bread of life, more valuable than the bread of leavens, because the bread of life is bread unleavened. From death, he was raised, perennial, unable to decay. He came and left, and yet he's here to stay. He deserves to be praised, and by him we are made. But much to his dismay, we've been led astray. And the insignificant distance we voyage astray reaches compensation if you simply pray, because his love displayed authentic grace, intended to be accepted without delay. Forget Amazon Prime. His grace is shipped in less than a day. So be his imitation and the hands and feet of Christ to all nations to attain power over temptation, because God versus Satan is a 3-to-1 relation. You see, inaction is an action. When you're passive, you're passing opportunities to be vessels of compassion. And the primary thing we all previously lack, the formation of an eternal pact to serve God by the way we act, to honor him in the manner in which we live. Jesus endured a crown of thorns so we'd understand what it means to forgive. He dwelt among us. A concept so beyond our level of comprehension, his love, grace, and mercy resides in this inner dimension, and his spirit descended upon his ascension, and that's why I hate religion. Society neglects to mention that religion is partially what put Jesus on the cross, and our eternal route was rerouted in his loss. So part of the source of his crucifixion was this man-made religion comprised of rules and regulations, and those rules invoke motivation to take strides of compensation to prevent hell from being our eternal destination. But it's a system in need of reformation, a system causing eternal degradation, the right play but the wrong formation, and all the requirements need a translation. So Jesus came as the interpretation, because religion is not an adequate substitution for the relationship acquired upon Jesus' resolution. The only substitute for an eternity in hell will release from the cell, because the Word became flesh and dwelled. The Word was, is, and will forever be the only consistently persistent melody with enhanced supplication unto thee. Love is present for you and me. I am a living juxtaposition of joy and tribulations, but my joy can't be confiscated by Satan. The one whose occupation is to steal, kill, and destroy is basically unemployed at the moment we allow Christ to fill the void. So at the unemployment office is where Satan sits, commandeering all the mistreated misfits, but it's easy to exit the ship. There's an efficient fix, because Christ exists to assist as our transgression is dismissed. And as Christ exists, he persists that he is the way. And with one prayer, we can make that great escape and ultimately start living for Christ's sake. See, Christ isn't just a source of hope, it's the essence of who he is, an essential anecdote so commonly dismissed. And he isn't only hope, but he is also love. Love unconditional, cascaded from above. His omnipresence is ever needed. In him, all sin is defeated, all evil has retreated, because he has succeeded at making non-believers believe it. We're permitted to proceed because he preceded. He was conceived, so we can't be conceited. He's God's son. And because the events that have transpired, we've won. Victory has already been acquired. Christ said it's done as his blood perspired. So we use these words to combat the inaccurate presuppositions that Jesus is just a figure of religion, because it's not the goal of Christians to fit in, and it's not the goal of the church to focus on tradition, but the goal of the church is the Great Commission. Over death, choose life. Over darkness, choose light. Over blindness, choose sight. Over everything, choose Christ. With unity and diversity, let the church be revived.